Last week, I left you to ponder the question, if you were to create a Smurf avatar that represented how you handle conflict, what would you name it? For some of you, this may have been pretty easy. For others, not so much. Either way, I hope you had fun coming up with different Smurf names. I know my family did. Hello, my friends. Jeffrey Shaw here from Grow to Your Potential. I am very excited for our next several sessions together as we explore the role of behavioral styles in how we handle conflict. There is so much potential to be unlocked when we take time to understand ourselves and others more fully. And I truly believe there is no better place to start when it comes to personal growth than getting to know yourself. Although there are many ways of doing this and various great assessment tools on the market that one can use, the DISC method of behavioral analysis is one I chose to be certified in, both for its reliability as well as ease of use. With how much it has helped me, my family and friends and coworkers, I know it will be a benefit to you as well. For example, my wife and I approach conflict very differently and perceive how others respond through our own lenses. This created many problems for us, as we often ran into situations where one of us would go quiet while the other would dominate with challenging questions. This gave a perception of one being a bully while the other was perceived as not caring. Both of which couldn't be further from the truth. It took learning about our behavioral styles to help us understand why we approach conflict the way we did, as well as how to more accurately interpret the other person's actions. This is why, as we explore how people handle conflict, we will be doing so within the DISC framework. The DISC method of behavioral analysis has been around since 1928 and is broken down into 4 primary behavioral styles. We have dominant, influencing, steady, and compliant. I suspect that if we were to pool all the different Smurf names that you came up with to describe how you handle conflict, we would be able to group these into 4 general categories that can be linked to these 4 styles. For today's purpose, we will look at the dominant style and then cover the other 3 styles in the coming weeks. So let's dive in to the dominant style, what it looks like, and then I'll give you the Smurf names my family came up with for this style. Although this style only makes up a small portion of the population, what they lack in numbers, they make up for in personality, hence the descriptor dominant. This style is very direct. It's quick to make decisions, bold, and aggressive, which is why I readily associate this style with the mental image of a bulldog. Not those cute, friendly-looking ones, mind you, rather those stocky, broad shoulders, big head with that built-in scowl, the ones that look like they are ready to just bulldoze right through whatever they charge into. They can be incredibly nice animals, but they have that tough, no-nonsense look to them. Similarly, people in this category tend to focus on tasks and results more so than people. And they do so in such a direct way that on the surface, they can come across as not caring about people at all, especially during times of conflict. This style readily embraces positions of control and are comfortable responding to direct confrontation. In fact, they're more likely to be direct and blunt with you than beat around the bush. This can be a very valuable attribute while not always being easy to appreciate. These descriptors provide a framework from which we can help identify someone with the dominant behavioral style. And not only come up with some Smurf names to represent their style, as fun as that is, but also develop strategies that will help us navigate through conflict with them in a healthy and productive way. First, the Smurf names you've been waiting for. My family came up with the following 3 names, although I'm sure there are many more that would be equally fitting, and I'd love to hear the ones that you came up with. First up, we have Dictator Smurf. Often found in positions of leadership, when faced with conflict, Dictator Smurf tends to get defensive and will argue his agenda until proven wrong. To other Smurfs, he is often perceived as one who, rather than listening, prefers to dictate orders and have others quietly do what they are told. Next up, Bossy Smurf. Bossy Smurf is direct and results focused, and naturally gravitates to those positions of control. With how blunt he is, the other Smurfs often perceive him as being very bossy. And last but not least, we have Hostile Smurf. While many of the Smurfs are very fun-loving and polite, Hostile Smurf thrives on conflict. To him, there is nothing quite like a heated debate to get those creative juices flowing. If you find yourself in a meeting with Hostile Smurf, you better brace yourself, as he's not happy unless there's at least one really good argument that takes place in the meeting. So, there you have the Smurfs we came up with to describe the dominant style and how they handle conflict. Hopefully this will help you recognize this style in others and possibly even yourself. Although much of what I have described can easily be perceived as negative, when the dominant style engages well, the strengths for leadership and getting things done are second to none. They are valuable assets to the team and should be embraced rather than feared. To help you with that, here are some tips on how to improve your communication with the dominant style, both to avoid conflict as well as navigate through it in a positive way. First up, put on extra thick skin. Please don't assume their directness means they don't care. They care and can so just as deeply as any other style. They just express it differently. Secondly, be direct and to the point with them. This may not come naturally to you, but it is their preferred style and what they will respond best to. As you communicate with them, focus on results rather than the details. They're big picture thinkers and they don't have time for all the nitty-gritty details. Thus, when discussing a problem with them, focus on the effects of the outcomes rather than the details of the problem. Lastly, when a debate occurs, don't give up on them by assuming they're not listening. Find out what information they need to look at a situation differently and provide it to them. They want to do what is right and best. You'll just have to prove what you're suggesting will yield the best results. Depending on your style, fully engaging with the dominant style will not be easy and will take lots of practice. However, the better you understand yourself and their style, the easier it becomes. With that said, I hope you will join me again next week as we explore the influencer style and their Smurf avatars. Thank you for joining me and allowing me to assist you as you grow to your potential.